Two guys. Same job, same paycheck, same age. One of them will never stop saving. Not at 40, not at 50, not even at 65. The other stopped 5 years ago. Hit one number, and then he just stopped. No more extra savings. No more late-night side hustle. Here's the strange part. The guy who stopped might end up richer than the guy who never does. Stay with me. But first, you need to meet the two men behind this story. Let's meet Jake and Marcus. They grew up 2 houses apart. Same neighborhood, same school, same starting salary at 24 years old. $60,000 a year. By 28, both men made $85,000. Both had $40,000 saved. Both were single, no kids, no debt, except a car payment. On paper, they were the exact same person, down to the dollar. But they were not raised the same way at all. And that one small difference is about to change everything you think you know about saving money. Because one story starts with fear, and the other starts with a plan. Jake's dad lost his job in 2009. Jake was 12 years old at the time. He watched his parents sell their second car. He watched his mom go back to work after 10 years at home with the kids. He remembers his dad saying one sentence over and over. At the dinner table, you can never save enough. That sentence never left Jake's head. It followed him into his first job. It followed him into every single raise he ever earned. But Marcus heard a completely different sentence growing up, and it changed everything. Marcus grew up differently. His grandmother came to this country with $200 and 2 suitcases. She worked 2 jobs for 20 straight years, saving every extra dollar she could find along the way. Then, at 55, she stopped working the second job completely, without any warning. She told young Marcus one thing he never forgot. I built my safety net. Now, I build my life. Marcus didn't grow up scared of money. He grew up with a plan and a clear stopping point. That stopping point has a name most people have never even heard of. So what is this mysterious number that let Marcus just stop saving cold turkey? It's called your COAST number. Here's the simple version. It's the amount of money you need invested today, so that compound growth alone turns it into your full retirement number, without you ever adding another single dollar. If you're 30 and you want $1.5 million by 65, and your money grows at 7% a year, you need about $137,000 invested right now. That's the whole number. Once you hit that number, something strange happens to your money. The market simply does the rest of the work for you, all on its own. But here's the part almost nobody explains correctly on this platform. This idea comes from the FIRE community, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. You don't need to want early retirement to use this math, though. You just need one simple truth. Money makes more money over time. The earlier you build your base, the less you have to grind later in your life. Marcus hit his number at 33. Jake is still grinding hard at 40. Now let's watch exactly what happens to both of their bank accounts, year by year, starting from the very beginning of this whole experiment. Year 1, age 28. Both Jake and Marcus have $40,000 saved. Both are putting $12,000 a year into their retirement accounts, right on schedule. Nothing looks different yet between these two men. They go to the same barbecues together. They complain about the exact same bills every single month, just like everyone else their age. But underneath the surface, one of them is already counting down to a decision. From the outside, nobody could tell these two men apart financially. But that's about to change fast, and it happens sooner than almost anyone would expect from two guys this similar. Year 3. Age 30. Marcus hits $137,000, his exact COAST number. Based on his goal of $1.5 million by 65, Marcus makes his move without hesitating. He drops his 401k contribution down to just enough to get his full employer match, about $4,000 a year, nothing more. The extra $8,000 he used to save now goes somewhere else entirely. Jake keeps going full speed ahead, without slowing down for a second. He's still saving $12,000 a year. No breaks, no pauses, no exceptions. Right now, Jake actually has slightly more money than Marcus sitting in his account. And that gap is only going to grow wider, at least for a while, making Marcus look like he made a rookie mistake. Year 5. Age 33. Marcus's $137,000 has grown to about $175,000, purely from market returns alone. Not one new dollar added, and yet the number keeps climbing on its own. Jake has kept contributing on top of his own growth, and his account now sits at $210,000, clearly ahead of his old friend. Jake is pulling further ahead with every passing month. If you pause the video right here, Jake would look like the obvious winner of this entire comparison. No contest at all. Most people watching would say Marcus made a huge mistake by quitting early. But Marcus isn't worried at all, because he knows something Jake hasn't figured out yet. In 10 years from now, that missing piece of knowledge will matter a lot. Year 10, age 38, Marcus's account, growing completely untouched. He's crossed $280,000 with zero new contributions beyond his small employer match. Jake's account, still getting $12,000 added every single year without fail, has crossed $410,000, a massive gap between the two men. Jake is now way ahead in raw numbers, no question about it whatsoever. This is the exact point where most finance videos would crown Jake the winner and end the story right here. Roll credits. But we're not most finance videos, and the next 10 years change everything. Year 20. Age 48. Marcus's original $137,000 has grown, entirely on its own, to roughly $530,000. All without a single added dollar. Jake, who has maxed out contributions for 2 full decades straight, now sits around $850,000 in his account. Jake still has more money sitting there, and we're not going to hide that fact or dress it up for you. But here's the number nobody talks about in these flashy comparison videos online. Jake put in an extra $160,000 of his own money that Marcus never had to touch at all. So where exactly did that missing $160,000 go for Marcus instead? Here's what the raw account balances never show you on a screen. Marcus took that freed up $8,000 a year, roughly $160,000 over 20 full years, and used it to build a real life while he was still young enough to actually enjoy it fully. He started a small side business at 34, and it failed completely within a year. He tried again at 36, and that one worked, bringing in $30,000 a year on the side even today. But the business wasn't even the biggest thing Marcus gained from stepping back. Marcus traveled to places he always wanted to see with his own eyes. He took 2 full years off between jobs to care for his father, who got seriously sick during that stretch. He didn't panic about money during that terrifying time, because his retirement was already running quietly on autopilot in the background. He also got married and helped pay for a full wedding without going into a single dollar of debt for it. Jake, meanwhile, kept grinding without stopping for anyone or anything at all. He locked away every extra dollar into his account, no matter what life threw directly at him along the way. And that decision cost him more than just money, in ways he didn't notice until much later. Jake didn't take the trip he always talked about taking someday. He didn't take time off when his own mother got sick because he was scared of breaking his long savings streak. Jake has more money today. Marcus has something else entirely. He stayed in a job he didn't even like for 6 extra years because it paid well, and he didn't want to disrupt his steady contributions. Jake has more money sitting in his account right now. That much is true and undeniable. Marcus has more life behind him instead, full of memories Jake simply doesn't have. This is the hidden variable nobody puts in the flashy thumbnail. It's about to flip this whole comparison completely upside down. Now here's where most videos get this story dangerously wrong. Most videos would stop right here and crown Marcus the smarter one for choosing freedom over more money in the bank. Slow down for a second, because it's really not that simple at all once you look closer. Let's run 2 completely different endings to this exact same story, because what happens next depends entirely on timing. And timing is the one thing none of us can ever fully control, no matter how smart we are. In one version, Marcus becomes the clear winner of everything. In the other version, his decision to coast nearly wrecks him financially instead. Scenario A, Marcus wins big and it's not even close by the end. His side business keeps growing steadily every single year without much extra effort. 45, it's worth $200,000 if he decided to sell it today. Combined with his coasting retirement account, Marcus is actually ahead of Jake in total net worth, plus 2 full decades of memories. It sounds like the perfect ending to this whole story, doesn't it? But there's a much darker version of this same exact story too, and you need to hear it before making any decisions. Scenario B, Marcus gets completely wrecked instead of winning big like before. His side business fails a second time at 40, costing him $15,000 in hard-earned savings he can't easily replace. Then a brutal recession hits hard at 45, catching almost everyone off guard financially. The market drops 35% almost overnight, and Marcus has nothing to protect him. Marcus's coasting account, with no fresh money going in to buy shares while they're cheap, takes years longer to recover from the crash than it should. Jake, still contributing every single month like clockwork, actually buys more shares during the crash at rock-bottom lower prices. Jake's account bounces back faster and grows even bigger, simply because he never stopped feeding it money through the storm. In this darker version, Marcus's freedom came with a very real bill attached. The market didn't do him any favors when he needed help the most that year. Same starting point, same exact decision made at the same exact age, but two completely different outcomes, depending entirely on one hidden variable. What happens in the years right after you stop contributing money? If the market runs hot during those years, coasting looks like pure genius on your part. If a downturn hits early instead, coasting can quietly leave you behind for years. So who actually wins this whole comparison between these two childhood friends? Neither one wins outright, and honestly, both of them do in their own way. Jake's strategy is safer during a rough market, because he keeps buying in no matter what happens around him financially. But Jake pays a real price too. One you can't see on a bank statement: burnout. Missed time with the people he loves the most in this world.
And a harder time enjoying his own money later in life, oddly enough. After 40 years of non-stop saving, spending money can start to feel wrong somehow, even when he's earned every single dollar of it fair and square through hard work. Marcus's strategy gives him freedom during the exact years when his body and his relationships can still enjoy that freedom fully and completely. But he takes on more real risk than Jake ever does, whether he admits it or not. If the market dips right after he stops, he has a much smaller cushion. Or if life throws him a surprise expense out of nowhere, he has far less room to absorb that hit financially. The truth here is actually pretty boring, and boring is exactly what makes it so easy for most people to completely ignore online. It's not coast and win or grind and win forever, like the loud thumbnails promise you every single day on this platform. It's something much quieter than that, and far more useful for your life. Your coast number only works if you actually know your real number, and you keep checking it every single year without fail or excuse. Most people who try to coast never actually calculated their real number in the first place before quitting. They just got tired of saving money and gave it a nice, comfortable name instead. That's not a real strategy at all, if we're being honest with each other here today. That's quietly giving up and simply calling it something smarter sounding. Marcus worked because he did the math first, long before he ever touched his monthly contributions or made any big decision. He knew his exact target number down to the dollar. He knew his timeline down to the exact year he needed to hit it. He checked in every single year to make sure his account was still fully on track to hit that number reliably. When the market had a rough year, he simply raised his contribution slightly to help cover the gap. He didn't just walk away from his plan and hope for the best. That follow-up, that boring yearly check-in most people skip, is the part that actually wins in the long run every single time. Not the dramatic decision to stop saving overnight. Not the exciting story you tell at parties to impress your friends. The quiet, boring habit of checking your number every single year is what separates the Marcus who wins from the Marcus who nearly loses everything he built. And that brings us to something we personally owe you before this video ends. 2 years ago, we made a claim on this very channel about the $500,000 rule and what actually happens once someone crosses it. A lot of you asked in the comments if that claim actually held up over real time and real markets. So here's our honest answer for you today. We're going to track Jake and Marcus's real numbers using real average market returns from this point forward. We're going to check back in on this exact video in 2 years. We'll show you the actual results, good or bad, no matter how they turn out. That's the standard we want to hold ourselves to on this entire channel, video after video, without exception. If we're going to talk about your money using exact numbers and real math, we should be willing to be wrong in public too, on camera, with the real receipts. So should you keep saving forever like Jake, or stop like Marcus finally did? Here's the honest answer nobody really wants to hear, but it might be the single most important line in this entire video today. It depends on a number you probably haven't calculated for your own life yet, sitting right there, waiting to be found. It depends on how close you personally are to the next market downturn, which nobody can predict with any real certainty. It depends on what freedom actually means to you. For you, freedom might look like a side business, a long career break, or simply quiet Sunday afternoons with zero financial stress hanging over your head anymore. The real trap was never Jake versus Marcus, no matter how the thumbnail made it look to you. The real trap is not knowing your own full financial picture, right now, in exact numbers, today. Most people don't fail with money because they picked grinding or they picked coasting. They fail for one simple reason you can fix starting today. They fail because they never once sat down and actually did this exact math for their own specific life and income. So here's what we want you to do right now before you close this video and scroll straight to the next one without thinking twice. Comment your age and your current savings below this video right now, and we will personally walk through your real coast number in a future video right here on this channel. Here's your homework, and it takes less than 2 minutes. Open your phone right now, check your actual retirement balance, then comment it below along with your age, and we will tell you exactly how far you are from your own coast number using your real numbers, not some random example on a screen. No judgment, no shame, just real math for your real life right here in the comments. Hit subscribe if you want to see your own numbers broken down exactly like Jake and Marcus, because we're building an entire series around real people and their real accounts month after month. Turn on notifications too so you don't miss it the moment it drops. Share this video with the one friend who's still afraid to check their own account balance, because this might be the nudge they actually need today. And next day, we're breaking down the other side of this exact coin. What happens when someone coasts too early before their number is actually ready for it, and how that one single mistake can quietly cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. That might be the most important video on this entire channel so far. Don't miss it. Drop a comment, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the very next one.